looking for a road my wife told me about. She said there's a decent view. Also keeping my eyes open for deer. So I noticed the solar panels I put on the windscreen that I made out of plexiglass, the solar panels don't regulate their voltage, so most cell phones need something that regulates 5 volts. So it will charge a cell phone in direct sunlight, but if you go out of direct sunlight, it'll just stop charging. So it's like turning on and off repeatedly. Not sure if that's good for a phone or not, but I had problems with running my Garmin GPS on it because it would run and then it would be like, oh, you know, detecting low voltage, shutting down. But that's all right. I just bring extra batteries. Still think this bike's a steal for what they're charging for it. I saw online yesterday that one website that was selling it was saying that it's not listed as all states legal anymore. I'm not sure why, what's happening with registration and all that, but if I were to buy a second one, I'd definitely check with the DMV before purchasing it, unless I was going to use it as a parts bike. Still recording. Yeah, so this exhaust, just so you know, has no catalytic converter and has no spark arrestor or baffle. So I had to take the tip off the exhaust. 3 bolts Allen, not sure what size. Hey, I got some other riders. Wave to the riders. And I put a mesh, a wire mesh, in behind the. I'm sorry if I'm yelling, but this exhaust is loud. So that if I do take it off-road, you know, and a Forester Service pulls me over and wants to check, do the coat hanger check, see if you know, it stops in my exhaust, they'll see that it does, because it'll hit that wire. I mean, with enough force, yeah, they could probably punch through the wire, but sparks don't do that, so they would just be, you know, being jerks at that point. 5th gear, coasting downhill, just purring. You know, I've been thinking about getting a fork brace, and I saw on the China Riders forum that somebody had used a Harley brace, and it wraps around the tire and mounts on the forks really low. They got that for like 20 something off eBay, and they had some luck with that. I haven't noticed too much fork wobble, so I'm not sure if I'm going to do it yet. I also saw somebody else on China Riders, they lowered their front fender to be over the top of the wheel more. I kind of like that idea. I might try it, but in order to do that, you have to have a fork brace to mount it to. So, yeah. Man, this does sound good going downhill and no popping or anything. I've noticed riding previously, before I put the exhaust on, I had the air box cut out and the carburetor with the 110 jet, and it would still pop a little coming downhill. But it doesn't do that anymore with this exhaust, so that's great. Haven't been able to find that road my wife told me to look for. I like that there's multiple ranges of sound coming out of the exhaust when you accelerate. If you want it to be quiet, you know, just don't give it full throttle and cruise around, and it just purrs. And if you want to give it more gas, it gets much louder. Huh. Wonder where that road is. So I had saddlebags on this bike, and I don't know if you noticed or if that video even recorded, but I took them off. I've just got that rack on the back and a expanding bag mounted with bungee net to the rack. And the reason I did that was I didn't want the bags getting near the exhaust, possibly melting. And I also wanted the bike to be as nimble as possible if I take it off-road. And you know, if you're adventure riding, you need space, sure, but an expandable bag hopefully will just carry everything I need and keep my bike lighter while I'm doing that. So yeah, I dig it. See a lot of guys out there and they're saying, oh, I got, you know, 2,000 or 5,000 on my bike. I'm like, God, I wish I could ride this that much. I have my Honda Magna. I ride that usually cruising to work in the morning because Magna's got a better windscreen, it's got heated grips, and it's got a lot more power. Anyways, this video is getting pretty long, so I'm gonna probably shut it off now, and I'll turn it back on if I find anything cool. All right.